Hi everyone! The Eggman, or Forgotten Man, depending on how you call it, is a very mysterious character. He only appears behind the trees in the room in between, or in the light world in some places for some reason. One theory that I really like and that I will use in this video is that it talks about time backwards. Like when it talks about the donuts thing, it would make much more sense if he was talking backward, from harvesting the wheat to the donut, instead of the donut to the wheat. And the other proof is how he talks about the development of civilization, then of flood, then of dinosaurs, then of the Ice Age, while that chain of events also makes much more sense the other way around. And before I get into the weird details that led me down a rabbit hole of other weirder details I will explain deeper in other videos, I need to get one thing straight. I think we can agree that he is not Gaster, because of his very different way of speaking and his more silly and whimsical attitude. His constant use of well is, well, not very Gaster-like, and moreover, he is not formal in any way, which doesn't really fit the Gaster we know. Well, this needed to be said because it has weird implications when you dig deeper. Anyway, after this too long intro, let's theorize and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you have seen. In a dialogue that I will probably analyze more in a future video, Pampton mentioned easels and CRTs as something important in his life. And while it isn't really important, it's looking at this dialogue that led me to think more about the only place with easels in this game. The chapter 4's egg room, and that room is huge, as it tells us what is the Forgotten Man. The only assumption we gotta do is that the Forgotten Man is linked to Chris specifically, hence why only Chris can see him in the egg rooms. Well, let's describe it. It's an art therapy room where Chris can't manage to draw the man and covers it all up. Their subconscious still remembering it, while they are not able to draw it. I think the most likely explanation is that art therapy is something Chris did before, and the Forgotten Man is only forgotten because Chris refuses to remember it. There is a mental block on him. It would explain the Forgotten Man appearing in the light world. It's not that he appears, it's just that Chris manages to remember them, so they notice him. While they usually don't, so we don't hear about him otherwise. What events could have caused Chris to have a mental block on him? Well, the most direct answer would be Desi's disappearance. If you remember, it probably happened in a forest, and a tree usually covers a man. I am not sure, but usually trees are found in forests. Chris seems to have gotten a pretty big trauma from the experience, or maybe experiences guilt if it's remotely their fault. And what makes it feel very clear that it is related to Chris is that everything feels like a vanishing memory when we are with the man. Like how he was never there at all when we stopped talking to him. And it fits with how Chris struggles to draw them, and draws a tree to cover everything up. It really feels like something that hurts Chris. And the last nail in the coffin is how when we go to the sink it says that some things cannot be washed away. Some things will never leave Chris. So what do we get from this? That the Forgotten Man is probably linked to Desi's disappearance, and that they are probably not someone really special for everyone else. Since Chris cannot remember them, it implies that the Eggman is a pretty nefarious character that probably traumatized Chris, hence why they are blocking off the memories. And we are just forcing them to relive their traumas, which is not really cool. But, well, there was a problem with that. The Valentine letter written by the Forgotten Man is very, very whimsy and nice. He just wants to help someone he ironically forgot. Maybe the irony is that the person also forgot him. That Chris forgot him. What I mean by that is that my idea would be that in the Dark World the Forgotten Man is not the same as in the Light World. In the Dark World, he is a concept in Chris's mind that they cannot manage to remember. And by giving eggs to Chris, he helps them remember the man who was there that fateful night. While in the Light World, the man Chris forgot is not the same kind of person. Heck, could be Gaster for all I know, but it's more likely a culprit in Desi's disappearance. The Forgotten Man we know just being a sort of manifestation of it. Because what would the Light World Eggman do in all the Dark Worlds? He couldn't just be there all the time, except if it's the night, but I think that's a pretty dumb idea, so it's why I just think he's not the same character at all. Yeah, so I think the Forgotten Man in the Light World is just a different person, and the Dark World one is just a sort of reflection created in Chris's mind. After all, what are they doing by giving eggs to Chris? They are helping Chris. And in the letter, they are talking to the player, right? And since in the game we help Chris find the eggs, aren't we helping the Eggman helping Chris to remember? I think that the pretty short cases make definitive interpretation on the latter. The Eggman is helping Chris, a person he ironically forgot. He helps them remember who caused Desi's disappearance. But you wanna know the weirdest thing? In the Gunner Maker, there is a thing to handle if a wrong value is returned. It fixes the value to egg, which will connect eggs and corrupted/wrong data. And then Gaster, with impact to know about achievements on PS5, considers that finishing a chapter with an egg is finishing a chapter with an issue. And isn't it weirdly fitting that Chris' wrong and confused memories give them eggs? But, here's the thing. Before we get deeper into the room proper of Chapter 4's Egg Room, an organic tells us this story here in between. The one between being exactly where the Forgotten Man resides, so let's listen to it and see what it relates to. It was mixed up, followed the werewolf, lost children, the pointed tail, forest grow. Let's put these words in order. Lost werewolf, the forest would grow. The children followed the pointed tail. The tail of hell? Well, we all know where this is going. Yes, it's friend, we all know it. It's the tail which must not be followed. The tail that will take roll, the tail made of circles for a thing that is basically a cat, like how cats are formed in cat patters. The friend that was in Noel's game years ago. The friend that is also in that same game now in the mic room. The friend in the basement of corrupted data. The friend that is in the story whilst it tears. The friend that is in the A1 boss fight. The friend that is spelled in all caps in the files as if it's very related to Gaster and Goners. The friend who's high color in Cat Mike and in Spamton. And on top of that, it's the Tail of Hell. And Gaster only has 6's in his stats in Undertale, making him fit as an associate of something relating to hell. That friend that seemed fully digital and Dark World based was seemingly followed by Death and the gang back in the days, apparently in the Light World. And that mention, that link between the Forgotten Man and friend, makes it all extremely weird. Like I said before, the Forgotten Man in Dark World is probably its own entity trying to help Chris figure out the past events, assisted by our help in fighting him. But in the Light World, he seems related to Friend. Maybe he really is Gaster after all. So we have that close tie of characters, Gaster, Friend and the Man, that are extremely linked. With that, I think I got most of what we can actually infer about the Forgotten Man. Is a fading memory of a tragedy trying to reach to Chris and make them see the forgotten truth behind Desi's disappearance. And we are only the actor helping them do it. All of this to find the real identity of the man and his friend. A friend that seems to appear mostly in games, even as a controller with his color. Did he give it to us? Or fake words, but it seems it appeared the Light World once. Maybe friend is the reason Chom tells us to stay home at night? That sounds like something he will know. Friend and Chom really seem linked to cat patters, but I will delve into that more in a future video. I've got a few more speculations in me, so if you liked what you have seen for now, please like and subscribe, it will really help. But now, let's go to those weirder speculations. I have an idea that maybe the Mike Spamton knew is not the Mike we see, but instead the real Mike, the one we never get to see. Friend. Why do I think that? Because all Mikes are in a pink and gold place with cats everywhere, and that cat Mike has friend's eyes and is a black cat. And while yes, this whole area seems like a joke, we can't forget it has a minigames nobody talks about in Cat Patters, the one in which friend exists. So maybe the Mike Spamton seemed to know as a friend was actually friend. It would explain why Spamton chose to adorn the specific colors, and why he got the cat element. After all, Spamton works like that. He takes from those he knows to be as successful as them. He took the nose, suit and way of talking of Tena, then the color glasses and again suit of Swatch. It would only make sense he got his colors and his cat element from someone else important, Mike. Or in this case, friend. Maybe I'll have more to say on Spamton in a later video, but that's why it ends with him. He's in the middle of everything, but not necessarily to anyone. But he allows us to have some glimpse on the weirder past of the lore. But you know what thinking of that leads us? To Cat Patters again. Because Cat Patters is also the link between Spamton and the Forgotten Man. But I will leave that for a future video. The last interesting thing about Friend I got today is relevant only if you are like me and you believe in Friend Inside Me Chapter 5. Do you know what Friend Inside Me Chapter 5 actually implies now, when you put all the evidence together about the Forgotten Man and Friend? It implies that the next chapter secret boss, if it's Friend Inside Me, will be linked to the egg, because Friend and the Eggman are extremely linked. Kind of like how the egg room is so close to Spamton in chapter 2. Maybe it'll even be like the first egg you are intended to find. Deltarune is not new to giving hints to the previous chapters and the new ones, because the Sword in chapter 3 told us how to do the weird route in chapter 2, and the Eggman in chapter 3 gave us the information on the egg that we already collected, so it will fit so well for the last egg to technically be the first one. Basically, it will go through the first, second, third, fourth and fifth Shadow Crystal, and then you go backwards with the eggs. And a cowboy near Whitfield! That feels like a pretty solid place. Anyhow, for now I have nothing more to say. Oh, nothing else is to be said for now. Well, no, I will ask you to please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you like. And on that, see you later. Or sooner. Friends.